Today our topic is solving multi-step equations, and this is part 1. There are going to be 3 parts to this, so we're starting off with just part 1 today. And our essential question is, how can I solve equations using the distributive property? Distributive property, as a reminder, is multiplication over addition or subtraction. So here's an example for you. We have 2 times the quantity 5x minus 7. So our goal is to get rid of the parentheses, because when we're solving an equation, we don't want parentheses in the equation. To get rid of the parentheses, we have to distribute, which means we take the 2 on the outside and multiply by the numbers inside. So it's multiplication over, in this case, it's over subtraction, but there could be a plus sign in the middle. So we're going to do 2 times 5x. 2 times 5x, well, 2 times 5 is 10, and then we multiply that by x. We don't know what x is, so it just stays 10x. Minus, we bring over that minus sign. 2 times 7 is 14. So that would actually simplify to 10x minus 14. So now we have no parentheses, which is our goal. So our solving equation steps are going to change a little bit now. Our first step is going to be to distribute. We want to get rid of the parentheses. Then we can undo our addition and subtraction like we've done in the past 2 lessons. And then we can undo our multiplication and division. So these 2 steps haven't changed. They've just moved down in ranking because we had to slide in a new one for number 1, which is distribute. All right, just 4 examples, and then you'll get to practice all by yourself. So we can still draw our railroad tracks. Still find your variable. There's y. We want to get y by itself. Well, right now y is blocked into these parentheses. We need to get rid of those by doing our first step, distribute. So we are going to take -3 and multiply it by the 2 numbers inside. So -3 times y is -3y. Just put the number next to the letter. Now this can get a little tricky if we do not pay attention to our signs. So this is really, when we distribute here, -3 times -4. That -4 is really a -4. So we need to figure out what -3 times -4 is. A negative times a negative is a positive, so I'm going to put down a plus sign. Even though there was a minus sign here, a negative times a negative is a positive, so it's making it a plus. 3 times 4 is 12, so that's really going to be plus 12. Equals -2. That -2 hasn't changed. It's all good. Now our next step is to undo addition and subtraction. So we can undo plus 12, because we have a plus, with minus 12 on both sides. 12 minus 12 is nothing. We bring down the -3y equals -2 minus 12 is -14. Last step, we have multiplication. Undo multiplication with division. So we're going to divide both sides by -3. -3 is crossed off, leaving y all by itself. -14 divided by -3. Well, 3 does not go in evenly to -14, but we can get a decimal approximation. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. If you were to type that into your calculator, you get 4.666666 repeating. So you could draw a line over all the 6's, and there is your final answer. Next problem, negative times the quantity 3x minus 12 equals 48. Draw your railroad tracks, find your variable. Variable is k. Our goal is to get that all by itself, figure out what k equals. Now, you see that k is trapped in these parentheses. So first off, we have to distribute this negative. Now, if there's no number, it's really a -1. So we're really multiplying by -1 to both. -1 times 3k, -1 times +3 is -3k. -1 times, now remember that's a -12, so we're really doing -1 times -12. Negative times a negative is a positive, so I'm going to put plus. 1 times 12 is 12. Equals 48. Now that we've distributed, we've gotten rid of those parentheses, k is free to move about. We can undo our addition. Undo plus 12 with minus 12 on both sides. 12 minus 12 is 0. They cancel out, leaving us with negative 3k equals 48 minus 12, 36. K is still not by itself yet. We still have this negative 3 that's being multiplied by k, so we're going to undo that multiplication with some division. Divide by negative 3 on both sides. Here our negative 3's cross out, leaving us with just k equals 36 divided by negative 3. Positive divided by a negative is a negative, and then 36 divided by 3 is 12. All right, 2 more examples here. We have 4 equals 4 times the quantity g plus 3. Draw your railroad tracks, find your variable. Our variable is g, so g equals, we want to get g all by itself. But g is trapped in some parentheses, so first off we have to take the 4 and distribute it to both numbers. We have to multiply. 4 times g is 4g. 4 times 3 is positive 12. This 4 over here is still the same because we didn't have to distribute on the left-hand side. 4 equals 4 times g, number next to a letter is multiply, plus 12. Have to undo that plus 12 first. Undo it with a minus 12 on both sides. 4 minus 12 is negative 8 equals 4 times g hasn't changed, but 12 minus 12 has gone away because 12 minus 12 is 0. It's nothing. Last step, we have to undo our multiplication with some division. Divide both sides by 4. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. Over here the 4's cancel off, leaving us with just g. So now g is all by itself, telling us that our answer is g equals negative 2. Last example, negative 18 equals, we can draw our railroad tracks, negative 2 times the quantity negative 2x plus 3. Here's our variable, x. Our goal is to get that x all by itself. So, as you can see, it is trapped in the parentheses, so we need to take negative 2 and multiply it by both numbers. Negative 2 times negative 2x. Negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 2 is 4x. Bring that x with. Now here we have negative 2 times a positive 3, so we're going to do negative 2 times positive 3. Negative times a positive is a negative, so I'm going to write a minus sign. Even though it was plus right there, a negative times a positive makes it negative, so we're bringing down a minus sign. 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 4x minus 6. This negative 18, still there. Not changing it. You have 2 steps left to undo. You need to undo your multiplication and undo your subtraction. Follow your steps. Step 2 would be undo addition and subtraction. Step 3 would be undo multiplication and division. I want you to try this, get x by itself. Once you've successfully done that, show me, and then you can move on into the practice.